And now it's time to depersonate this week's biggest bogon emitter. And this week it goes to a lot of proponents of net neutrality for bogusly calling anti-net neutrality arguments posted to the FCC's website as fake comments and demanding that they be removed.
Well, once again, the fake news concept. It's like my other opinion is now fake news. And it's not. By the way, the net neutrality issue has been back and forth for people who are always for it. They say, well, we got to protect the open, free internet. I'm like, you do realize that it's going down from a free market to the government and making it to utilities. Have you seen the utilities and how the government manages them?
Yeah, do you really want the internet to work like your power company?
Yeah. Talk to people of Flint, Michigan about how government treated their utilities.
Now, there are some allegations of outright personation. 14 people have come forward claiming they're pro-net neutrality but had anti-net neutrality comments posted in their name. Now, they're just allegations at this point, and we don't know if any have gone the other way either, but it's not at all unusual when you have something like this, and it's generally done quite a bit by people on each side of the issue just trying to cheat and game the system. I'm actually a bit surprised that they couldn't come up with more than 14 given the thousands of messages sent to the FCC, and it also wouldn't be the first time someone filed a comment for a site they disagreed with solely so they could later claim that people are filing fraudulent comments. But that's not the real issue. Net neutrality groups say that thousands of people have been impersonated using spam comments, and their only piece of evidence is that a lot of them use the same text, which is, quote, "The unprecedented regulatory power the Obama administration imposed on the internet is smothering innovation, damaging the American economy, and obstructing job creation. The plan currently under consideration at the FCC to repeal Obama's Title II power grab is a positive step forward and will help to promote a truly free and open internet for everyone." Now, that text comes from a group called the Center for Individual Freedom, or CFIF, who wrote, quote, "The Center for Individual Freedom is mobilizing concerned Americans across the country who are opposed to the Obama-era Title II regulations that gave the federal government sweeping regulatory power over the internet. Through national digital and activist advertisement, CFIF is helping to connect Americans with the Federal Communications Commission to call upon the commissioners to fix the ill-conceived regulations passed on a party-line vote in 2015 under the previous chairman. The message concerned Americans are sending to the FCC points out the harms of the Title II approach and supports Chairman Pai's current plan to repeal the Obama administration's power grab." Now, if you remember when we covered this issue a few weeks ago, I mentioned websites that sprang up in the wake of John Oliver's coverage, where you could go in and fill out your info and hit a button and it would send pre-written comments. Some of them left a space for you to add your own comments. At least one, the EFFs, had it so you could remove their comments and say whatever you wanted, even if it was to make it an anti-net neutrality comment if you want. But the point is, there's a lot of that repeated text in pro-net neutrality comments for that reason. So basically what they're saying is, our copy pasta is good, copy pasta from the other side is fake spam comments that must be removed and disregarded. But you might recall, this is why I urged people to write their own from scratch, and when I wrote mine, I even avoided some of my common talking points just so they couldn't do that. But that doesn't make these comments copied from CFIF any less valid, and yet, here's what the pro-net neutrality groups want the FCC to do. Quote, "Notify all who have been impacted by this attack." And how do you know who it is? The copy pasta, of course, but only on the anti-side.
Of course. And the next thing you know, oh, well, that means everyone's pro-net neutrality. Everybody.
Yep. Amazing, isn't it? Remove all of the fraudulent comments, including the ones made in our names, from the public docket immediately. Okay, remove the ones where people come forward and say they didn't make the comments, but they're not saying only to remove those, but other fraudulent ones, in other words, the ones with the CFIF copy pasta, but not the copy pasta from the pro side. publicly disclose any information the FCC may have about the group or person behind the 450,000 plus fake comments, like they don't really know who it is. It's a mysterious group and not CFIF, who has their own website where anti-people can do exactly what the pro side has been encouraging their people to do as well. And hey, do you want that information disclosed about all of you too? I mean, fair is fair. And finally, call for an investigation by the appropriate authorities into possible violations of 18 U.S.C. Section 1001, making false statements, and other relevant laws. But again, just the anti-side.
It's always about self for these people. They never want to hear any opposing ideas or anything else against net neutrality. Evil corporatists will use their power in government with representatives to basically ice people out. That's how they, become these one or two cable providers. Same with Pepco and all the stuff around here in Maryland. That's what they did. They lobbied the government to make sure they're the only ones to provide this service.
Now, of course, if it turns out they're right and there is this fraud going on, it needs to be investigated. But again, the only evidence they have for this is that the comments are verbatim, just like all those comments sent from the pro sites. And even this Ars Technica column acknowledges that, quote, "The identity of people running the spam bots is unknown. Hey, you know what else is unknown? Whether or not these spam bots even exist." But here's the thing, people. This is not a vote. The reason for the comments is so people can give arguments to the FCC, and it's the arguments they should be paying attention to, not how many people make them. So the pro-net neutrality people tried, and to a huge extent succeeded, to game the system. They're only butthurt because the other side tried to do exactly the same thing, which is why all of the groups whining about this are this week's biggest bogon emitter.